So here it is, the simple truth on why it can be more difficult as a man to get sober than it can as a woman. And this is something, I've had some comments on prior videos, and it was inspired me to really talk about this in a lot more depth because, as anyone who would know who goes to an AA or an AA meeting, or anyone who really understands addiction or relates to being an alcoholic or an addict, just one look around the AA and NA rooms shows the amount of men that are in there. Now, there are a number of different factors that, why there's more men in the AA and NA rooms. There's a tradition of AA and NA. There is more men likely to use that as a resource than females are to use those programs as a resource. But I think one of the other factors that we really need to look at is the fact that it is more difficult for men to get sober than it is for females to get sober. The relationship with alcohol that men have from a very early age. Someone told me the story the other day of, growing up with their father and wanting to be like their father. And don't we all? Because at the heart of addiction is complex childhood trauma, is the fact that most of us didn't have our core emotional needs met around love and worthiness and those developmental needs met, so that there's a hole within that we look to fill with a chemical, with addiction. That is the heart of addiction. And so when men don't have their core emotional needs met and their parental figures show them that the way to be a man is to drink like a man. And then secondly, it's not acceptable in many cultures as a man to discuss your feelings. Now, when we know what we do know, 101 basics of healing in any respect is feeling your feelings. The way to get better at healing is not to necessarily feel better, but to get better at feeling your feelings. What we need to do to heal is we need to work through past emotions and issues and problems and traumas that have come up, pair the emotion with the feeling and put them back into the past. That's this very simplistic view of the neuroscience of healing. So what we need to do is really heal from these past experiences. And it's very, very hard for men to do that because there is so much tied up in the masculine identity of going for beers with the boys. There's this whole other issue that is so strong as going for beers with the boys. There's being a man is drinking. It can be so much tougher.